Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Queen Factor. This is our very first episode. We couldn't be more excited to get started. My name is Fallon Williams.
And I'm Hallie Thompson.
And today we're going to be talking about what really makes exuding queen energy possible. And that's thinking queen-like thoughts and maintaining a positive outlook. So we can't wait to get started. We have a very special guest that's going to be joining us in a little bit. My good friend Gianni Luisi, CEO and founder of the Queen Mindset Coaching. So stick around. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Gianni. We can't wait to get started.
And as we state proudly in our title, we want this podcast to empower our listeners to feel like queens and kings and leaders of their own lives.
That's right. Hallie and I are pageant competitors, and while we definitely will get into pageant preparation and topics about the community, we want this podcast to really be for everyone to enjoy and for everybody to be able to digest. Everybody can be a queen or king in their own life and deserves to feel like it every day. Not just pageant girls, but this will also be helpful and applicable for those when they are preparing for their next pageant.
We believe queens in the pageant world and in real life possess qualities like confidence and strength. We want to dive into topics each week that will educate us, enlighten us, motivate us, and allow us to grow in all areas of our lives.
So that being said, without further ado, let's dive into our topic of today, the power of a positive mind. So while you may think changing your thoughts to be more accepting and positive seems like a simple task, I found that it's not only difficult to form into a habit that's consistent and lasting, but also without this change and thought of spirit, you really can't succeed. We love the quote that I first heard from my roommate, Allie, Miss California last year, and it's written by Henry Ford. It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I had to listen to that a couple times and I was like, what does that really mean at the first time? But when I thought about it, it's whatever thoughts you're actually bringing into your mind and believing is what you'll actually be able to achieve. So maybe this is going to be full of cliches today, but I promise you guys, this is so important in the path to creating what's on your wish list and your goals and your dreams. So I'd love to start our segment by sharing some insight and knowledge that was bestowed upon me in a class that I took last year at USC. Hallie is a freshman there now, so it's kind of cool that we share that bond. My teacher, Kim Morris, shared some really great insight by author Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way. And what she talks about is called the censor. So this is the same as self-doubt. I know you felt it before. I have. It's something we all battle with and will continue to battle with each and every day. But it happens when you start to believe the negative thoughts that come in your mind. Your censor describes itself as the truth and tries to portray itself that way. It acts like it has your best interest at heart, perhaps to protect you, but it's actually holding you back. It uses schemes and excuses in the form of falsehoods and lies that you tell yourself to keep you in that box, like a safe space or your comfort zone. And we must learn how to really replace these falsehoods we tell ourselves with empowering truths, or at least turning in and taking what we can from that thought and flipping it to how it can benefit us. So some examples that Julia Cameron talks about for how your censor is holding you back is when you're pursuing your greatest aspirations and the goals that you see yourself achieving or you hope to achieve one day in life, maybe your thoughts, your censor is what's holding you back. It tells you your dreams don't matter. Maybe they're too big or they're not sensible. But the truth is your dreams do matter, and pursuing something that you're passionate about, that you actually enjoy, too big or sensible or not, in the eyes of society, I think, we can make any dream sensible to us, but that's going to push you even further. And when you're passionate about it, you're going to do even better in that pursuit of that goal. Second, if you're feeling jealous, you're letting that censor of comparison in, and it probably is actually just letting you know it's time for you to do the work. You're seeing this other person, maybe they have what you want, or they have the body you like, or they have, more money than you, whatever it is that you find yourself getting jealous about. Maybe it's time for you to see, well, what can I do to reach that goal so I can have that, and use it as motivation instead of a thief of joy, which is really what comparison is. And you don't even need to try is a third thing it thinks, because you expect yourself to be immediately great. So your censor has already told you that, if you're not going to be perfect when you start, why even start? If you're someone else is going to possibly kick you out of the game, just go ahead and take yourself out, because I'm going to save myself that fear, that rejection, that pain. So being in your comfort zone is really not going to help you grow. And failure is actually the only way we're going to learn. So this is just some stuff that I've learned. She has a wonderful book, but I just remember those truths and I try to believe them, every day, and just repractice them and repeat them in my mind whenever I'm starting to feel those feelings. She also includes if you're too old, you think it's too late, you don't have enough money, enough time. These are all negative thoughts. And in my mind, frankly, excuses, because you owe it to yourself to mute those limiting ideas and negative thoughts because your goals are worth it. You deserve to be and achieve what you want in life. So lastly, really quick, I'm sure my fellow girls in the pageant world know about some famous literature. It's by Kristen Dalton, Miss USA 2009, The Sparkle Effect. And Halle and I, when we were giving up our titles as Miss High School and Collegiate California in, 2018, she actually came and spoke to us. So felt really inspired since then, and actually just finished reading her book and wanted to share this with you guys, pageant competitor or not. But she has a chapter called Sparkle with Queen Thoughts. And she says, we need to be our own cheerleader in a world where other people are bringing other people down. There's hurt by others towards others. So you have to be your own cheerleader. So I love that idea. And then she also said, just because a thought drifts into your mind, it doesn't mean you have to let it stay there. Negative thoughts are going to happen regardless. They're inevitable. So it's, what are you going to do when you have that negative thought? You acknowledge it, take what you want from it, whether it's something maybe you could improve on, but it's probably worded in a nasty way. So you should just release it and turn it into something that's going to be beneficial for you. We don't have any room in our mind for those kind of words. I always think about, imagine if you spoke aloud the words you said to yourself to somebody else. You'd be a bully, or I would be a bully, at least if I said that out loud to some things that I've said to myself in the past. So why are we bullying ourselves? Like I mentioned earlier, Dalton also points out it's not just knowing about positive thinking, but again, regularly practicing it. And it's not going to be easy. You have to really work towards it every day and be mindful about practicing it until it becomes a habit and your permanent way of thinking and your permanent outlook. And whether you can control your circumstances or not, you can control your thoughts and how you perceive your situation. And that one's really big because you control how your day goes, how your attitude is. If you wake up and you spill your iced coffee in the morning, you're like, dang, this is the worst day ever. I stubbed my toe. I on the way out, dropped my coffee, whatever, forgot my keys, whatever it is. How are you going to still push through all those negative things that might be happening to you in order to change your day around and remain in a positive, optimistic mindset? All right, my last few little tricks and tips that I love is we learned at Miss California USA last year from Dale Smith Thomas, author of Good Morning Gorgeous. Some little vocabulary replacements you can do. When you're feeling stressed, replace it with blessed. Halle makes fun of me for using all these because they're so cliche, but I really think about it. When I say stressed, no, you're not stressed, you're blessed. Because what an opportunity it is to have so much on your plate that you're involved in this. There's people who don't even get the chance to be stressed because they don't have the same opportunity you do. And when you're feeling nervous, change that into energized. Use that energy to fuel you instead of make you weary. And then lastly, if you're feeling overwhelmed, replace it with in demand, because so many people need something or want something from you, and you have something to share and contribute with however many people, whatever organization. So what a blessing it is that so many people want you and your insight. So again, just changing the thoughts in your head. This is why we have our special guest today, Gianni Luisi. I'm so excited to bring her in and ask her some questions today. Gianni, better known as Mama Queen, helps women heal from toxic relationships and create happy, healthy love. Using research-based methods and therapeutic techniques, she helps women overcome codependency, anxiety, and trust issues. In her 12-week Queen Mindset program, she teaches women how to communicate, create healthy boundaries, and become happier. She's a social worker, trauma educator, and relationship coach who graduated from UT at Austin. Fellow Texas girl, thank you for joining us today, Gianni. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I am in love with everything you said. It is amazing. Oh, wow. All those books, I definitely have to read them myself.
Yes, I'll definitely pass them along because they're super inspirational, really great I think for all women, but really anyone could read. So let's get started. I'd love to know how you got started in the mental health field.
So I actually was sort of discovered, I was always that friend that people would go to for advice. And I was in New York City walking, exploring, and somebody overheard me giving advice. And they happened to be a life coach trainer. So they invited me to the program. I actually said no because I was like, someone like me shouldn't be giving advice. I'm a mess. But I did it anyway. And it turns out that if you use whatever messes you've made in life to help other people, your whole life changes, becomes really meaningful. And I think all of us can learn from that because, you know, we've all made mistakes. We've all done things we're not proud of, but we can use that to our advantage and help so many people. So that's how I initially got into it. So I became a life coach, and then I went to UT Austin and studied social work.
Awesome.
That's so amazing. And then is there something in particular that inspired you to start the Queen mindset?
Well, I've always been somewhat of a diva, but I went through therapy and my sense of self-worth increased. And I started treating myself like royalty. And what I think what I was going for with the queen mindset is that a queen is a queen no matter what. Her value is not going to be moving depending on what she did or what her day is like. And also, a queen is prioritized. She prioritizes herself, and then from that place, she serves other people. And I think that's what I teach all of my clients is you come first, your happiness comes first. And at that point, you can fulfill on your life purpose.
I love that. What would you say it means to have a queen mindset? I know you say treating yourself like royalty, but what really starts when you're defining that mentality as a whole?
Well, like you said in the beginning of your podcast, having confidence and training yourself to think positive, being in demand versus overwhelmed.
Awesome.
And is it natural to have negative thoughts about ourselves? And why do we tend to think this way?
It's completely natural, and it's a survival mechanism. You can train yourself to think positive, and you're still going to think negatively. But the more you train yourself, the easier it's going to become. Like I always say, I don't have bad days, but there was a period in my life when I had lots of bad days. But I've trained myself to always see the positive, and it's a lot easier for me to do so. And I think when you think positively, you feel positive, and then your relationship is easier. Whatever you're up to is easier.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it's not a bad day anymore. Maybe it was just one bad moment, and that doesn't qualify your day or your week or, you know, how you feel about yourself as a whole. So when did you begin to understand the power of queen thinking yourself? You kind of started on that.
I would say maybe a month into starting to think positive. I maybe wasn't calling it queen thinking, but I realized that I was thinking negatively because I was afraid of being disappointed. And I think a lot of people do that. It's a habit. So once I formed the habit, it was pretty easy from there.
And what are some of the benefits of a positive mindset, maybe that you've noticed yourself or that some of your clients have noticed in their lives?
Well, there's actually a biological benefit. Like if I were to hook somebody up to biofeedback equipment, when someone's thinking positive, their body is more relaxed and more part of their brains are working together at once, very much like a child. And also, when you think positively, and you're going to do more positive things usually, like you may feel more motivated to work out or surround yourself with people who make you feel good. And all of those things are affecting your brain chemistry, and it's easier to produce serotonin long term, which is the happiness chemical in your brain.
That makes so much sense, and I definitely feel like I noticed that myself too. And then, how does a positive mindset relate to? I know you've mentioned activating queen goddess power. You talk about that on your page.
Well, it's necessary. How we think about ourselves and how we think about the world, that's gonna limit what's possible for us. So if you believe that everything is possible and that you're powerful, then your life is going to reflect that. And I believe that everybody is sacred, everybody's a miracle. You are divinely made, you're unique. And when you come from that place in life, it really does start to feel magical and people treat you differently.
And then even with that, is it really possible or necessary to be positive and optimistic all the time?
Definitely not. But when we say positive, we're just thinking about like we're looking at things in a new way. And we're also being realistic when we're being positive. Most people think negatively and focus on the negative, but you're just not acknowledging the positive. So it's just a decision. This is where I place my focus.
What do you tell people who seem to be brought down by negative thoughts and energy, or they can't seem to shake that negativity out of their mind?
So I'm sure you guys have like tried this with your friends, but if somebody's feeling down, you could be like, "Oh, hey girl, you look good. Your lipstick's not smudged," but they're like, "No, no, no, it's gonna smudge again." Or like they're in their heads. Like I
Right.
can't just tell someone, "Hey, you're beautiful," and they're gonna believe me. But ask them like, "Well, when did you stop feeling beautiful? Or what is it about you that makes you feel less confident?" And so getting to the root of why they feel inadequate can actually increase their awareness and give them the ability to make a change in their life and feel better.
So then how do you prevent yourself from feeling discouraged or disappointed, or how do you like bounce back when you can't help but feel that way?
I have specific exercises and practices. If you can't just like kind of talk yourself out of it, then you could make a list of the things that you do love about yourself or the things that are going right in your life. You can think of or even call someone close to you who really loves you and ask them, like, what are my strengths? What's going right now for me? And a lot of times, other people can see, or not a lot of times, but sometimes when you're really in it, when you're really thinking negative, someone who really loves you or looks up to you is going to be able to tell you and remind you of you are and how things are going your way and what you have accomplished. Sometimes I do assign to my clients to take a look at the past year or 5 years. What have you overcome? And did you think you were going to overcome that while you were going through it?
I love that. I was just saw this quote the other day, like, remember when you wanted what you have now. Like, even in like my fitness journey, I feel like each day is like, maybe I don't feel like I'm adequate this day, or like I did enough this day. But if you see how far you've come in a certain amount of time, then you're really able to appreciate all the positive work you've put in and see how valuable you really are.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching your fitness journey.
Thank you. You literally are such an inspiration. If you guys don't know, Gianni is like an amazing yogi. She's so wonderful to watch in yoga and literally inspired me to get into it a little bit. But yeah, just fitness queen. I love watching your stuff too. So it's kind of in the same way of how do you stay positive when you have negative thoughts, but what about when someone else tells you no, or you're facing failure or rejection, which I get can be a whole nother topic in and of itself, but just to keep positive when you face, a situation of being told no or losing a pageant or, not getting a job you wanted.
So I view every no as like a hell yes, because it's an opportunity, one, to improve, or two, to meet something that is better for you. I view it as a good thing, a blessing. When you hear no, it's magical. It means you're headed in a new direction.
Right. You don't win or lose, you win or learn. That's one of my other favorite little quotes.
I think you should make a quote book.
I know, I'm going to put one together for everyone to
Yeah.
access. Right.
Yeah, Fallon's got it with all the quotes. She's always like sending them to me too. So I feel like I get the secondhand knowledge from that. So how do you find that you're able to see the silver lining in situations?
It's a habit. Like I said in the beginning, I've trained myself to do it, and I see the benefits of it. And I view it as being realistic more than being positive.
I think everything you've said today is literally so valuable. I know I've learned a lot, and I feel like it's just something that the more you do and the more easy it'll come for you, and then so much opportunity is going to come after that. So our last question, because we have to wrap up, if you could give us one message that we could take away, if we could only take away one thing from today, what would you say is the most important thing to leave us with? Maybe that's hard.
I would say that you can have it all, and you can have it all by being yourself.
I love that. I
Yeah,
feel so inspired.
I really love that.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much again, Gianni. If you guys want to check her out, go on Instagram. It's Queen Mindset Coach if you type that, or Gianni Luisi. I think maybe you'll pop up. I know if you changed your ad. So, but Queen Mindset Coach, you guys, she has wonderful one-on-one coaching, great testimonies from all of her clients. I'm definitely going to look into it myself, because I just feel like even just chatting with you on here was already so therapeutic and inspirational. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to listen to this podcast all the time.
Yes, whenever we need to pick me up on our way to work or something. That's awesome. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you again so much. Again, my name's Fallon.
And I'm Hallie.
And this has been the Queen Factor.